Hey everybody out there in the bookverse, this is Stephanie, and today I am going to be doing a focused review on The Raven Boys. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, so you are able to watch it even if you haven't read the book yet, and you shouldn't be spoiled for anything. As always, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for watching my videos. And if you want to see more stuff from me, definitely subscribe down below and hit the bell so you can be notified when I post new content. Let's jump right into this review. This is the first focused review that I have done on my channel so far. So this is going to be a little bit of a trial run for me and you guys. Let me know what you think and things that you might want me to change. But yeah, I am going to just be talking about things that I like about the book, things that I didn't like about the book, and then just kind of some general overall wrap-up thoughts, my rating, and everything like that. So this book is kind of an urban paranormal fantasy story. It is in the YA genre, but it is not terribly YA tropey, I feel. It follows four boys from a kind of prestigious private school in Virginia. There are Gansey, Adam, Ronan, and Noah, and they are all best friends and kind of in their little group. And Gansey, the main kind of leader of those boys, is trying to find ley lines, which are these kind of lines of energy power that connect different landmarks. And one of them, he believes, runs through this town in Virginia where he lives. And his point in this is trying to find the Glendower Raven King, who he believes was brought over from Scotland and buried there. And this is all kind of explained at the beginning of the book. This isn't any spoilers. This is a very main plot point that we are following from the very beginning. The other main character that we follow is Blue. She is the daughter of a psychic, and pretty much everyone in her kind of group, her aunts and everyone who lives in her house are psychics, but Blue is not a psychic, but she enhances psychic power. So when she's around other psychics, they are able to read things more easily and get kind of energy and those types of vision things more easily. So she's an enhancer. And at the very beginning of the book, Blue sees Gansey as a dead person going along the ley line to the church that's where the dead souls go. And so she becomes kind of fascinated with him. These groups, all the boys from the school are called the Raven Boys, hence the name of the book. And she's always kind of felt that they were snobbish and rich, privileged people, and she never really wanted anything to do with them. But they become intertwined with this whole looking for the ley lines plot line. I don't want to go any more into it than that because I don't want to spoil anything. The different twists in this book are amazing, so I don't want to mess this up for you. So we'll start with things that I liked about this book because there was so much that I liked about this book. The main thing I think that really made me love this book is the characters. There were some amazing, well-developed characters in this story that I just couldn't help but love and want to succeed so bad. I think that's something that is very important to me in books, is to be invested in the characters and in their story and to actually want to see them succeed. Because if I don't love the characters, I don't really care about the book that much, no matter how well everything else is made. Blue is just adorable, and she is sweet and carefree and unique, and she is totally and completely herself, and she's accepted it, and she is so fun. I really love her. I love her attitude towards life, and I love how she is open to new ideas and new experiences, and she is just kind of a genuinely good person, which I love having in books. I love both, but I love that. Gansey is so unique. His character arc in this, the more we learn about him, the deeper you dig into why he is how he is and his thoughts behind everything. I really come to love him as a character as well. Adam is one of my favorites. He is just sweet and good, and he has so much going on in his life that he is dealing with that is just serious things, and he struggles. He's from a poor family and he's on a partial scholarship to this really prestigious school, but he has to work really hard to pay for the rest of his tuition. And this is something that he feels like no one else really ever understands, and they can't quite get it because everyone else that goes there are just extremely rich, and money is something that they have always had and they take for granted a little bit. So we get a lot of insight into that perspective as well. Ronan, one of the other boys, I feel like isn't quite as developed, but he is definitely a unique character that brings a big shift to the whole group because he is so different than the rest of them there. He's a little bit of a harder character. He has some edge to him. He likes to get in fights. He likes to skip school. He kind of has a little bit of an attitude, understandably so. We learn more as we go through the book. And then there is Noah. He's kind of quiet. He's kind of an unknown. He's just a different, quirky kind of guy. And he's in this group and he's different. You really need to read the book to get to know Noah a little bit. But these characters are just also great. And that is my favorite part, is how well developed these characters are and how much you come to really care about them and learn about their backstories. Another thing that I love in this book is the twists. There are a couple twists that I didn't even see coming. I'm fairly decent at guessing twists in books, but I didn't see these coming and they were so well done and it just added a lot to the story. They weren't twists that I felt took it in a direction that I didn't enjoy. They were twists that really contributed to the whole story arc as a whole, and I really, really loved that and how Maggie Stiefvater executed those. Another thing that I absolutely love about this story is the friendships that are in it. These friendships are just amazing, even though those people don't always get along and they don't always agree, and they get in pretty significant arguments and fights where they are angry at each other, but they are just the best of friends, and they're such a great little friend group. I think this is going to be one of my new favorites for the friend group that I would like to be a part of. And another thing that I think was very well done was the perspective jumping in this book. There are several perspectives that are seen in this story. I like how they are all done in third person. I think that really helps me to connect with the characters better when they are done that way. It's not done in an abrupt, jerky way. It feels like it's very smooth and goes very well with the story. And I think that the different perspectives adds a lot to you understanding the characters in this book. You come to see it from different perspectives, different points of view, and you get the different motivations behind what the different characters are doing in this book. And that's something that I really, really appreciate because they see it so differently. When you get to a different perspective, the same exact situation is completely different. And it's done so well that you sympathize with all the different sides. You're not like, oh, this person's totally right, you're seeing it wrong. When you're seeing the different perspectives, you get it. And I really love that about this book. Now, onto some things that I didn't really enjoy about this book. One thing is that it was a little bit confusing at the beginning to get what they were doing and what was going on and to understand everything that was going to be important for this book, which I didn't necessarily expect in a book like this because it is an urban fantasy. It's not like we need to learn a whole new magic system or political system or a whole new world that we are jumping into. This is our world already, and it's just different things about the paranormal aspect of it, the ley lines, what was going on that we needed to learn about and to figure out. I didn't really think that I wasn't expecting that going in. And so that was a little bit of a work that I was not thinking was going to happen at the beginning of a book like this. So that was something that put me off a little bit at the beginning, even though I still was very intrigued about the book. Also at the beginning, the characters were a little bit jumbled for me. There were quite a few characters that were kind of just plopped on us. And I understand that you want to get all your characters in because they're going to be important, but it took me a little bit of time to be able to sort them out, understand who each one was, and get to know them. I find that I feel like the start of this book felt a little bit more like a high fantasy where I was trying to figure everything out than like a contemporary or urban fantasy book that I'm used to. So that might just be a personal thought or preference. Let me know down in the comments if you disagree with me on that. Also, I feel like it was a little, this is kind of a little nitpicky thing, but I feel like it was a little excessively focused on Gansey's car. I kind of knew a little bit more about Gansey's car than I did about some of the characters in the book, which is odd to me, and I wasn't really as interested in the car as the rest, as Gansey seemed to be, or as Maggie Stiefvater seemed to be. Just a little thing, but I wasn't really into it. And also, I would have enjoyed a little bit more focus and a little bit more backstory on some of the other characters. Now, I do understand that this is a book in a series. There are 4 books in this series, and this is only the first book. So odds are we're going to get a little bit more into some of the other characters when we go into different books. But I'm impatient and I want to know the backstory to some of these characters. I want to know more about them as we're reading along. And so I feel like there could have been a little bit more work put into some of the other side characters so that we could have understood them a little bit better. And the last thing that I disliked about this book that I'm going to talk about is the last line of the book. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I obviously don't want to spoil you, but I thought the one-liner at the end of the book just kind of put me off a little bit. It seemed a little bit out of character for the character that said it. And it was kind of odd and there was no context around it. It didn't seem like it was something that should have been said at that point. It was just almost like throwing it in there for the sake of having a cliffhanger so you want to read the next one and read more, not like it actually went there. So that was one thing that really actually put me off quite a bit, to be honest. Overall, I really loved this book. I thought it was amazing. I gave it, it's like a 4.75. It's between a 4.5 and a 5. I think when I rate it on Goodreads, I'm probably going to give it a 5 because I loved it. I think a lot of the reason that I wouldn't is honestly because of that final line. I was like, what is that? Did that belong there? Was that necessary? Could we have slid that in a little bit differently? It's a tiny thing, but when it's the last thing that you remember from a book, it bugs you. I thought that the pacing was really great in this book. The characters were great. The story was great. I really enjoyed this book as a whole, and I would highly recommend it, especially if you like fantasy. And the paranormal side of the fantasy made it a little bit easier to read and to grasp because it wasn't a whole new world that we were finding out about. It's something that is actually thought to exist by some people in the world already. Those are my thoughts on the Raven Boys. Please let me know what you think down below in the comments. Let me know if there's anything you would like me to do in reviews of other books or other things that you would like me to include in these reviews. Let me know your thoughts on the Raven Boys as well, if you agree with me or if you disagree. I definitely want to have a conversation down in the comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.